This is going to be a pretty quick video about Mars, and a lot of people get this wrong. They kind of use their imagination or preconceived notions of what a sign is supposed to do or be when it is in Mars. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at something and we are going to read off of this text. Let me see if I could zoom in for you. So let me get my magnifying glass out. But as you could see here, let's go ahead and zoom in at 125%. Actually, let's go 150. Okay, so Mars in Leo is quite favorable for money. However, progeny will be affected adversely. The native will advance in the marital sphere, provided Venus in the seventh lord is sufficiently strong, obviously, right? Like you got to check the whole chart. And it says that Mars remaining in Leo will give the following effects depending on the rising sign. So as you see, it describes things based on different rising signs. So if your Mars is in Leo, right, it begins to describe the different rising signs and how that affects having Mars in Leo. But as you can see here, it says that it is favorable for things such as money and marital life, right? So yeah, it's a lion and all that. Uh, but when people think about like warriors and working out and applying Mars, they never mention any of this. And this is a very important thing to consider about Mars. Now, let's compare it with Mars and Sagittarius. So a lot of people, oh, they say Sagittarius is an old man, that it's lucky, that it is somebody that's kind of not having to deal with stuff. But that's actually far from the truth. Look at this here, right here. So with Mars in Sagittarius, should Mars be in the sign of Sagittarius, the native will have many wounds, be emaciated, harsh in speech, crafty, alienated, be a warrior, endowed with chariots, elephants, and army men, will pass arrows. And I mean, it's worded kind of funny because this is a really old text, like this is from the medieval times, but will launch arrows at the other's army from his chariot. Doesn't that sound like a drive-by? Like, think about that. If you're shooting arrows out of your chariot at the enemy, that's like the modern day equivalent of a Marine using like a what's it called, turret off of a warthog or something, or like some dude doing a drive-by in his ops' neighborhood. He will be happy with hard work and will lose happiness and money due to anger, and as a result will not honor elders. So as you see here, the sage Kalyan, or sorry, this is a book, but it's written by Sage, so you get it. He hints at the bravery and skill of a native with Mars in Sagittarius in the war field. It is favorable for a position in the military, etc. So a lot of people, like, they'll read things a certain way and they go, okay, yeah, lions, Leo, yeah, yeah, no, that's fighting, that's this and that. But as you see here, they have documented this very meticulously, and it turns out it's actually Sagittarius that is the warrior. He's the one that is in the battlefield. And as you study astrology more and more, and you get good at your craft or whatever, and you really start to piece things together by searching the root, you find out that the sign of Sagittarius literally represents the battlefield, which is no one talks about that, right? They think, oh, it's lucky and he never leaves the home and it's a church and this and that. But that is popstrology. The reality here is if you begin to study the charts of many people, it turns out that no, Leo is not the warrior. Leo's the pretty boy, which isn't a bad thing. And it's not saying that you can't be good at war or anything like that either. I mean, like anyone can buy a gun and practice or just stuff like that, right? But they're generally not going to want to join the military. And as a little bonus, we could look at Mars in Capricorn too. It says that one will be wealthy or fortunate and endowed with happiness and pleasures. Excellent disposition, famous, could also be an army chief or a king. Have a good wife, will live in his own country, be independent, a protector, virtuous, right? So it's kind of interesting because most people think that a good Mars only has to do with something such as strength or something like that. But this doesn't mention any of that. In fact, it's kind of saying that having money is good because you can have people fighting for you. And if you think about Capricorn, it is the manager of the zodiac. It exalts in Mars for that reason. It also says, it makes him courageous and also good in the uh, army. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff because here it's bringing up immovable properties. So that's like a home. And yeah, obviously, it'll go through different ascendants, etc. We're not going to do that today. That's for a longer video. But I just wanted to bring this to people's attention because I keep seeing in forums about how people say, oh, your Mars is how you should exercise and you should do this because this and this sign means this. And a lot of them, they're just kind of letting their imagination run wild. And that is not real astrology. Astrology is observable. There are patterns that we could see and exploit here. Yeah, I mean, this is all interesting stuff. I'll talk about more in future videos. But for now, I really just kind of wanted to say that. It's so interesting to me that people are always talking about Sagittarius in Mars the way that they do. But yeah, that's all for now.